Okay, so this is what I'm calling the pipe elbow. Now you're going to be creating a path for this and sweeping this for the hole. Okay, you can do it differently. There's multiple ways to work through that, but I think it's easiest just to create a path, and sweep it. And then these two caps are exactly the same. Okay, so here's your isometric view. Here is your cut through. Okay, so if I slice this down the middle, this is what you would see. So this shows you your path. Okay, so you have a circle that has a radius of 260. And then from the quadrants of that circle, you have this 150. And that's going to be, this is how you create your path here. Now, the other thing you need to realize is that this 50 is the thickness of this plate that's on both sides. Okay. And it gives you the thickness of this pipe by showing you the diameters of both of these openings, or the one's the opening and one's the exterior. So if my exterior is 290 and my opening is 220, I have 80 left over, but you have to realize that you're working with two sides. All right, so let's first make this path, which I will begin here. And you're going to need to be in drafting. This is the easiest way to do it, I think. Just grab a circle, okay? And then you want to do your radius, and your radius is going to be 260, okay? And then let's see what happened to it. There it is. Okay, so then if you look at your diagram, like I said previously, you have this 150 extension. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to take a line. We're going to go from the quadrant, make sure your quadrant's on, and we'll make it 150. Enter. And then again, we're going to do another one down here, 150, enter. Okay, and escape to turn that off. Now you should be able to trim, that's weird, trim these out, trim that other part of the circle out like that. So this is going to be your path. Now, this path will disappear if you use it for a sweep. So either you're going to duplicate it and do two sweeps, or you're going to join this, sweep it with a circle that has the diameter of 290. Of 290. Okay, I'm going to change it D and enter to diameter, and then I'm going to make it the 290 that I want it to be. And I'm just going to sweep this. I've joined my path, so now I'm going to use this object to sweep that one. Okay, so now I should have a solid sweep and object. So if you look at it, it should say 3D solid. Okay, so then at that point, I'm going to leave it for the moment. Okay, and then I'm going to come back to that. So the next thing I want to do is create one of the plates. So I have a plate, and its overall size is 360 by 360. So I'm going to do a rectangle, and I'm going to type in 360, comma 360, right? And then I'm going to round those corners out. So if you look at the diagram, these corners have a radius of 20. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that too. So let's do a fillet radius. I said it was 20. So I'm having a bit of glitch here on my settings, and I have to figure out what that is. But for the moment, it's okay. It's a good learning lesson to see that, unfortunately, right now, my fillet isn't doing a full joint. So I'm going to escape the fillet tool, and I'm going to say trim. Okay, so instead of that corner disappearing, it's staying. So I need to fix that. But for now, I'm just going to trim. I'm going to trim this whole section off. Okay, and I selected the entire cube so that I could just use the cutting edges I want, and then I'll join that back together because now I have my full square. Okay, so then the next thing I need to worry about is the placement of these circles. Okay, so let's see. We're going to need to look at this other view to get all of our information. Now we know that the center point of this one is 260 apart, but we also know that it's set at 50 in and 50 in. Okay, so one of the ways you can do it is if you, well, no, okay, I'll do it this way. I'm just going to explode this, make my life easier. I'm just going to offset this in 50. And I'm going to offset this one in 50 too. So I should have done that step before I joined them, but that's okay. So now I'm going to rejoin this because I don't want to lose any of my objects. And then when I do go ahead and extrude, I want those to be joined and I don't want to run into that. So now I have my placement for my circle. So if I go back here and I look, I have two circles. And excuse me, this side view here is giving you the diameter. Now the top one is an imprint and the bottom one is a through. So the first thing I'm going to do is the through. So that's diameter is 30. So I first need to extrude my plate here. So I'm going to go to this and I'm going to extrude it. And I want to extrude it 50. Okay, so hopefully that's done what I want it to do. And then I'm going to go back to my diagram. My diagram has my smaller, the through circle with a diameter of 30. So I'm going to go back to this little spot here. Got to make sure intersection's on. Okay. And I probably have to do it from this side. Okay. So here's my intersection. I'm going to come out, make sure diameter is on. I'm going to type in 30. Now, I could have done that differently if I wanted. I could have just made a cylinder and cut through, but I'm going to do a press pull. No, I'm just going to do a standard extrude for multiple reasons. If I do a press pull, I may lose my object. I don't necessarily want to do that because I'm going to want to use it later, and I'm having some issues here. My cylinder. Uh-oh. Okay, come on. There it is. Okay. Now I should be able to. I'm hoping I'm going up. I am. I'm going up. Okay, perfect. So then let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and mirror it. So now I have this entity. If I look at it straight on, I can go ahead and mirror it across this plane. Now just make sure that you're pulling from the bottom and not going to the top again. And it just stays where it's supposed to be. Then you can select these two and mirror. And let's see if it'll let me. Sometimes it will. Does that look right? I don't want anything erased. I want it to stay. Oh, there we go. So good. Perfect. So then we can just do a standard issue subtraction. I want to subtract from this. And I want to subtract 1, 2, 3, 4 entities. Okay. So if I put it in conceptual, just to confirm, I should have holes. Perfect. I'll go back to wireframe because now I need to do the inset. Now you can put a circle on the face and then press pull it down to delete. I'm going to create a cylinder and just subtract it because then I can just do it on all of them, which you can do with the press pull too. But the circle is 60. So again, I'm going to, and the depth of it's 10. So on this face, I'm going to make my diameter 60, and then I'm going to say 10, enter. It should give me a little lip. So if I do that, I should be able to mirror across this bottom plane. Okay. No, and do the same thing across the other plane. And then you miss all the duplications necessary and the copies, and you know your placement's right. Perfect. So then you just go ahead and subtract those. So this is what you're subtracting from, and this is the object you will be subtracting. Okay. So then if I look at it, I should have these indents. Okay, so this is basically my plate. Now, the hole that is in the middle of this plate is the internal portion of our pipe. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back to wireframe. Okay. And then I'm going to create a cylinder, but I need to make sure I do it in the right spot. So I'm going to give myself a reference line just to make sure that I don't have any issues. Okay. And I'm going to make a cylinder. And it's going to be the midpoint of this guy. And I want that to be at I'm going to do the radius will be at 105. And I'm just going to draw it completely through. That doesn't really matter to me. It's not where I wanted it at all, which happens. Don't delete it. Just find it again and place it where you want it to be. Confirm it's placed where you want it to be, and then if you have to, just stick in it. Go ahead again and put conceptual, okay? And then you'll just subtract this. This is your entity, this is your subtraction. So you should have a hole, okay? And once you do that, you'll need 2 of them, okay? So just go ahead and duplicate it before you, and you'll have to do a rotation on it, but you just place it over there for now. Hopefully I didn't, yeah. So then we need to work on this guy. So this one, excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and let's rotate this. We'll do a 3D rotation, and I want to rotate around this axis, and I want to rotate it, but just 90, I think. I'm happy with 90, because then I can place this on the face. Okay, so it might help you, okay, to put a line across the top of this quadrant. See? Because then you'll grab everything, you'll move it, and you can grab the center point of that line, and it should, I got this thing in my way, it should activate your circle. See? Okay, so then this one, we're going to go ahead and do a 3D rotate on. But this time I want it to rotate the other direction like this, and I want it 90. Okay, let's make sure my indents are perfect. That's another thing you need to worry about. Again, and this is going to be on your face, so we are going to make sure that we go on the face by using a reference line. Okay, and then I'm just going to move this guy from here, midpoint, to my face of this circle if it feels like being there. Okay, so now these are just dots for no reason. So then I'm going to get rid of some of this extra stuff that I don't want. Same over here. Yeah. Okay. So then I have a hole in this plate, so I can see it when I highlight. And I have a hole in this plate, but I do not have the hole in my pipe. So I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to go to my solid tab, okay, and then I'm going to shell it. Okay. So I'm going to shell this object. I want to remove this face. I'm going to come around and I want to remove this face, okay? And my thickness, which I should already know, is supposedly 40, okay? And if it works, enter, no, 40. There it goes. Okay, now it's happy again. You should have this 2 entities, 1, 2, flush with the face, okay? So at this point, okay, you're almost there, but they need to be a union, which I always forget that I have to select after I select the tool, but that's okay. So it should be 1 piece. Now, once it's 1 piece, we're going to have to chamfer this edge, and we're going to have to fix this. So if you look at the details, you have this ring here. That's a chamfer. It's indicated by this C10 here on both of those, okay? And then the other little thing that not everyone sees is this R10 here. And that's this detail, okay? So C10 here and R10 here. So we're gonna go back to home, and I wanna do a, not a standard, I wanna go solid, sorry. I wanna do a chamfer edge here, okay? And I'm gonna do it right on that, okay? And let's see what my distance is. I'm just gonna make it 10, enter 10, and it should open it up a little bit, and I'm gonna press enter. It gives me my idea of what it's gonna look like. And then we're gonna come over here, again with the chamfer. It should already be set up to my measurements, but you can always double check by down arrow distance, 10, 10, perfect, enter. Enter. Okay. Let's enter twice so that you can, if you want to, manipulate it. So now we need to do the radius. The radius is a fillet, and because they're joined, you can use the fillet that's going to give you that external curve, or internal curve is really what I should say. Enter, and this one was 10 as well. Okay, it should get bigger, and you should be able to enter it twice and get it. And then you'll do the same up here. Okay, no big deal. Make sure you get the right edge. Make sure it's the right radius. Press enter. Here's your idea of it, and here is your final. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting for this elbow. Okay, I want you to use the shell tool. I'm going to get rid of that because that's just annoying. Okay, I want you to use the shell tool. I want you to figure out how to do this imprinting. I want to make sure that you realize when you do a union, doing a union is the only way to do that internal fillet, and also the only way to do an efficient chamfer on the edge where the pipe meets the plate. Okay, so that's about it for this assignment. Please let me know if you have any questions.